Today's video is really just a reminder that it's okay to dream while there's chaos happening. I want to talk about that. I feel like there's always this desire for perfect timing, for perfect appearances, for perfection in general, and that can be self-sabotage. When I think of self-sabotage, I think of not allowing yourself to thrive because of what's happening with other people or what's going on in the area of other, right? So that could be the political chaos that we're experiencing right now. That can be family drama, sick family members who just can't quite get it all together, family members who keep being the problem, friendship struggles, ups and downs in friendship circles or friendship relationships, drama, a diagnosis, something that really stops you in your tracks, right? And that's not something that a response that we can always dictate, but diagnosis can sometimes, prevent you from doing the things that you want to do. Absolutely. Any hurdle or roadblock in general that you allow to be so big and you stop doing and stop chasing your dreams. Google would define it as like doing things that are not for you beneficially, that are harmful to one's own interest or to your development, right? That's like a hardcore definition of self-sabotage, doing things that are harmful to your interests, to your development. And most of the time, in place of that, we're considering others. We're considering other things. And I'm not saying ignore what's happening around you. I'm not saying ignore what's happening in the world. I'm not even saying ignore the things that are happening in your relationships or the people you're in relationship to and what's going on in their world. But, big but, too much awareness of others and not enough introspection, reflection, focus on yourself is harmful to your development. It's harmful to the goals that you have, the dreams that you want to reach, personally, professionally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of those things, right? It's harmful to you and what you want to do with your life and the vision that you have for yourself. And sometimes we just need to be reminded to be in tune with our star player. That's my favorite Cat Williams line. Be in tune with your star player. At the end of the day, when you are alone in your bedroom, alone in the shower, alone wherever you get a chance to be alone, and you're thinking about yourself, this is a moment that you have to yourself. Are you happy with everything that's going on in your life? Are you happy with the way things are playing out? Have you been able to really sit and focus on yourself? Most likely you haven't. Most likely you've been so tuned in to what's going on with everyone else that you have completely sabotaged your own plan, your own goals, your own dream, your own vision. Self-sabotage can look so many different ways. And for me, it has always looked like dropping everything that I'm doing to go and help someone else. We're not doing that anymore. It can look like minding everyone else's business, shifting the blame. So when you do something wrong or when you don't do something at all, blame it on, oh, this wasn't right, or oh, they didn't show up for me so that I could do for myself, or placing the blame on everyone but you and not having any accountability. I already talked about at the beginning of the video, perfectionism and being so focused on appearances and how you show up and how this will look. So much so that you avoid doing anything. Avoidance itself is also a form of self-sabotage. So like deciding not to go to a place because you know it will require a certain version of you or a certain aspect of you, a part of you that you aren't ready to elevate to yet. That's a hard one. Being pessimistic and practicing pessimism in general. A lot of people don't know that they do it. A lot of people don't realize that they are pessimists until you point it out. All of that negative thinking, oh, it'll never work out. I'll never get the chance. Never, 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 never. Well, of course, now it's never going to happen because you have locked into that mindset. You've locked into that negativity and you've completely sabotaged any hopes of you getting there sooner. Because let's be real, you can come out of that pessimism, you can unlock from that negativity, but it's going to take some work and it's going to take longer to get to where you want to go. Another thing, talking about awareness, talking about being more focused on yourself, too much of that can also be self-sabotage, because you can always be overly critical. You can be looking at things and nitpicking about how this should be and how that should be, and timing, and all of that stuff is a part of overthinking. And then gaslighting yourself, right? Can you gaslight yourself? Yes, you can, by ignoring the reality of what is happening in your life, by ignoring the reality of how your personal actions benefit you or don't benefit you. Ignoring those things and telling yourself that you're doing something for another reason. Telling yourself, oh, I'm not going to the gym right now because I can't afford to. When really, if you were realistic and you took a look at your actions about how much you're spending here, how much you're spending there, you could probably afford to get to the gym. You could probably afford that dream a little bit more if you were being realistic with yourself and stop gaslighting your own behaviors. So yeah, it's a tough conversation to have with yourself. And let's not forget just the overall failing to act. Having these dreams, these visions, these goals, having these burning desires to do certain things and just not acting at all out of fear. That's also self-sabotage. So if any of these fit you, babe, it's time to shift your focus. It's time to commit to yourself. It's time to turn things back around to you. Like I said before, I'm not saying ignore what's going on with your family or your friends or in the world or politically or in the organizations that you serve in. Definitely pay attention to those things and see how you can be helpful there. But you also want to make sure that you're finding the balance. Figure out what you require. What do you need? What are the necessary changes you have to make so that you can be all that you want to be, so that you're not always dreaming, but you're actualizing, you're realizing, you're making things come true. You're putting yourself in the places and spaces you need to be in so that you can become all that you want to be. It's time to do things. It's time to behave differently. And I know that that's hard, right? I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow and go and do something different. That's not even how it works. You have to start small. 1% better every day. That's also one of my favorite mantras that I live by. And so that could mean walking away from some people or some places or some positions, some roles that you play. It could mean an environment change. So I'm not going to put myself in this place anymore because it's not conducive to me. I'm stressed out. I'm being worn out. I'm not even realizing the effect that it's had on me over the past however many years or however much time has passed since you put yourself in that environment. That could look like placing some limits and some boundaries on relationships or behaviors, right? And honoring those boundaries yourself, because yes, other people will try to cross your boundaries, but sometimes we let our own boundaries down and let people in. They're not even knocking, but we've opened the door for them already. Like sometimes that is what it requires for us to focus on ourselves, is to be a little more strict with ourselves and recognizing our weaknesses and recognizing the places where we allow people to walk all over us or to take up our time and to take up our focus. And also a little sacrifice. It could take you giving up some things. It could take you choosing to have tunnel vision and focus in some areas of your life. Like for me right now, I'm trying to finish my last year of grad school. So that's going to take me denying myself some trips, denying myself some TV time, denying myself some of these bomb rom-com books I have on my list. Denying myself evenings or outings with my friends. Not so much to the point where I'm not enjoying life anymore, but just enough to where I can focus and get the grades that I want to see myself and learn the information that I need to learn. So it could take some sacrifice and some personal investment. What's your reason? What's your why? Remembering those things along the way also helps. And then some of us really just need to sit down and make a list of priorities and decide what's going to be important and what's not. We need to readjust. Right? Some of us have placed other people on the top of our priority list when they haven't even done that for themselves, and you need to do it for yourself. I'm just being realistic. Like I think about some of the situations that I'm in my personal life, and you can only help people as much as they want to help themselves. And that line, that lesson alone will help you reprioritize. So yeah, sit down and make that list, 1 through 10, 1 through 5, whatever it is it needs to be for your life. Make it specific and put at the very top of that list the things that you want to do. Put at the very top of that list the things you need to be healthy, the things you need to be whole, the things you need to be your best self, and prioritize them in the next quarter. We're going into March, so that means you should be reflecting about what you want to do different in the next quarter. At least that's what I do. And then lastly, that could look like intentional self-learning. And what I mean by that, and I'll probably make another video about this, a separate video, but intentional self-learning is really just looking at your track record, looking at your patterns, and figuring out, what did I need to learn here? Why do I keep reliving this cycle? Why do I keep reliving this lesson? Why do I keep going through the same thing over and over? What can you learn there? What are you missing? And being intentional about sitting down and asking yourself those questions, it requires, again, for you to prioritize yourself, right? Hey, I need 30 minutes alone today. I need this 30-minute period. I'm not eating lunch with anybody today. I'm not going out. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take the time to check in with myself and say, what am I missing? What am I not learning here? Whether you do it in a journal, whether you want to create Excel sheets, however analyzing yourself works for you, right? Journaling is what I preach, is what I teach, is what I do. And so, of course, I'm going to encourage you to do that. But whatever works for you in the way that your brain can process the information that you need to learn from yourself and from your life. Look at those patterns, look at those cycles, and figure out what it is that you're missing, the lesson you're not learning, and why you keep running into it, so that you can finally learn and you can finally move forward from that and get intentional about moving forward and being your best self. So yeah, that's my TED Talk for today. Basically, don't allow what's going on around you, to the people around you, to shift your focus from the things that God has put you here for, that are burning in your heart. You can dream while the world is on fire. And I know that sounds crazy, but like, they don't just turn off. That purpose, that fire in your heart, that desire in your heart, the things that God has shown you personally, they don't just go away. The directions you were given aren't just there for any reason. It's in your heart because the opportunity is going to come. It's in your mind because it's something that you should be working on. It's not going anywhere. And you can find the balance between taking care of others and doing what you were put here to do. You absolutely can do it, and I believe in you.